This is my Bulma Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta burn deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Prismatic Burst. 4 Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Feigned Greeting. 4 Black Skill as Goku. 4 SS Vegeta Exploding Weakness. 4 Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. 4 Topo Righteous Aid. 4 Heroic Duel Videl. 4 Hidden Power Easter Pain Kai. 4 Testing the Opposition. 4 Violent Rays. 4 Goku and Vegeta Jr. Saiyan Scions. 4 Lord Slug Giant Force. 4 King Piccolo Giant Force. And 1 Goku and Frieza Miraculous Conclusion. So the obvious burn win cons is Goku and Frieza, as well as our King Piccolo Giant Force with the -4 ability. Lord Slug can be used to burn an opponent for game with its -4 ability. And we have the SS4 Gogeta Prismatic Burst, which has the effect that when you play this card, if you have red energy, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So that's what we're trying to take advantage of. So definitely going to have red energy in this deck. So leader, permanent all your red and yellow Saiyan cards and Earthling cards in your battle area game blocker. Active main, draw a card once per turn. Awaken, when you have 4 less cards, 4 less life, you can untap 2 energy and switch them to active mode and awaken. On the backside, same thing, all your red and yellow Saiyan cards and Earthling cards, game blocker in the battle area, and active main, draw 2 cards instead. So she's going to turn our heroic Videls into blockers after we use it to negate an attack, of course. Be able to turn our Exploding Weakness Vegetas into blockers after you use them for counterplay and minus your opponent's board. Same goes for Kaioken. Goku, you summon them, board wipe your opponent and create a blocker. So those are the main cards that the leader will affect and turn into blockers. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Prismatic Burst is a 35k with quadruple strike, so it can potentially do 4 damage all by itself. Auto, when this card is played, resolve the following effects based on the card colors in your energy area. If you have red energy, deal 1 damage to your opponent. If you have blue, draw 3 cards, but we don't have that. We could potentially have black energy, which will cause us to choose up to 2 of our opponent's battle cards and send them to the owner's warp, which will be useful for getting rid of any potential blockers. So it depends on the situation, because you can always charge like a Vegeta or a Goku, or even a Goku Jr. Vegeta Jr. Scion unison into your energy area, so that way you have 1 black card, 1 black energy, along with all your red energy, and be able to trigger both the red energy and black energy effect of this card, and be able to burn your opponent for 1 and get rid of up to 2 potential blockers. And then swing for a 35k quadruple strike. And with this deck's ability to draw, should be able to easily combo into this battle card's attack and get that quadruple strike to go through. So we're saying for Vegeta Feigned Greetings has Overwhelm 6. So if you have 6 or more cards in your drop area, you can warp them in order to play this card for free. Auto, when this card is played using Overwhelm, your opponent chooses 1 card from the hand and sends it to the warp. So this will allow us to reduce our opponent's hand size by 1. And it's a nice 30k beater. It's a Vegeta Zeno, so it will help us play this card. Yeah, I forgot to mention that this card, active main, you pay 5 energy, 5 of any color energy, right? Choose 1 Goku Zeno card and 1 Vegeta Zeno card in your hand and or battle area, and place them into the owner's drop area, and then play this card from your hand. So this is how we'll cheat it out, because normally it costs 10 to play this card, but we're going to cheat it out by paying 5, by discarding, Vegeta and Goku from our hands or battle areas. So those are options. Like I said, this 30k over round beat stick that you can play for free. Son Goku 10k skillless. It's a Goku Zeno, obviously. We could bring it out with Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. Saiyan Scions by using his -1 ability, so we can get some attacks. This is what's going to allow us to go in hard turn 1 and do potentially 4 more damage, so that we can, quickly get our opponent down into kill range, so we can try to finish him off, by turn 5. Because this is a turn 5 play. This Gogeta's a turn 5 play, so pretty much you're trying to take your opponent down on turn 5. If you could do it before then, even better. But essentially, your kill turn is essentially turn 5. So we have Goku for that, for the Scion play, and for the Gogeta. SS Vegeta Explain Weakness, counter play, permanent if your leader card is rare, which it is. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, so it costs 3 to play. Auto, when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, and they get minus 20k power for the duration of the turn, which could potentially board wipe your opponent, or at least drastically weaken your opponent's board, making it hard for them to attack you with all of their battle cards. And if it's your opponent's turn, when you do that, choose up to one of your leader cards and it gets plus 5k power for the duration turn, which further increases your leader's defensive capabilities. So that's good. Plus it's a red Saiyan, so it will become a blocker, so you can, block an attack, especially if it's a kill shot. Kaioken Goku, deflect 15k auto. When you play this card from your hand, choose all your opponent's battle cards with 20k power or less and KO them. Something funny you could do is, if you have the ability to do it, right? Let's say you have 4 energy, you pay 3 to play Vegeta to minus 20k to all your opponent's battle cards, and then use your leader's awaken ability to untap 2 energies, so you're back at 3 energy. And then use the 3 energy to play the Kaioken Goku from the hand. And since all your opponent's battle cards should be less than 20k power, 20k power or less, because you minus them by 20k, you'll be able to use this to board wipe them. So for 4 energy and a leader effect in these 2 cards, you can wipe your opponent's board of any potential problem. Let's say all your opponent's battle cards are 40k. Vegeta will turn them into 20ks, and then this will wipe them out with its effect. So there's synergy there with those 2. Plus this becomes a blocker because it is a red Saiyan. Active main, pay 2 red. If your leader card is red, which it is, you can discard this card from your hand to the drop area and choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, which is important, and minus 25k power for the duration of the turn. So you could potentially kill a battle card that has barrier with this, like a blocker or deadly defender, or some problematic battle card that has barrier. So there's some barrier hate there. Topo Righteous 8, counter attack. Choose one card from your hand, discard it, negate the attack, and then play this card. Permanent, if it's your opponent's turn, reduce the cost of this card by 2, so it costs 2 to play. And auto, if it's your opponent's turn, when you play this card, for the duration of the turn, your opponent can't attack unless they choose 2 cards from their hand and send it to the drop area every time they attack. Now, of course, if you play multiple copies of Topo in a turn, that affects stacks. And he has a 20k body, so that's always nice. We have Heroic Videl, counter attack, negate an attack, play this card. Since she's an Earthling, a red Earthling, she'll become a blocker, so you can also use her to block an attack after you negate an attack. So for 1 energy, you can potentially stop 2 attacks. Hidden Power Eastern Praying Kai, combo this card for 1 energy, get 10k boost, and potentially give that card double strike. So the double strike is optional. You definitely would like to use this early game because you're trying to get your opponent down to two life or less. Get your opponent down to kill range, or get them weak enough that a Vegeta overwhelm play plus hidden power E Supreme Kai, could take your opponent down. Then we have testing opposition, counter attack, leader card is mono red. Negate the attack, play 1 Cyberman token with 5k power and 0 cost 5k combo power, and give and blocker for the turn. So you can potentially stop 2 attacks with this. Permanent, if you have 5 or less life, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding 1 card from your life to your hand and play this for free. And that's not once per turn, so if you can afford to add a card from your life to your hand, you can play multiple copies of this card and potentially stop 2 attacks per each copy. So if you have 2 copies of these and at least 3 or more life, you can stop up to 4 attacks with just these 2 cards, with just 2 copies of that card. So gotta love that. Then we have Violent Rays, counter attack. If your leader card is rare, which it is, negate the attack. You may choose 1 card from your hand, discard it. If you do, choose 1 of these effects. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards with 20k power or more, or your opponent can't attack with unisons with 20k power or more. Typically, we choose the battle card part of the effect. Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., Saiyan Scions. We only use it for its -1 ability. So, which lets you play up to 2 skillless battle cards with energy cost of 1 from your deck and or drop area, and then shuffle your deck after you look through it. So this is how we'll get our Son Goku's Zenos out the deck for some deck thinning, and then of course to allow us to go aggro, especially turn 1 is what you want to do with this deck. Since we have this strategy, we're definitely trying to mulligan to make sure we have one of these in our hands, so we can just quickly go in and get some damage, because you can play this for 1 energy, attack with it, because it is a 10k, then minus a marker, bring out 2 Gokus, attack with the 2 Gokus, so that's 3 potential damage right there, attack with the leader, combo to make the leader stronger, right? So it can hit and potentially do 4 damage on turn 1, which is always good. Start off strong, getting your opponent 4 damage when they're more likely not to do anything to stop you from dealing them 4 damage. And then after that, try to get in a quick little double strike, and then you'll be definitely putting your opponent in kill range for your burn effects. And go from there. Where am I at? Okay, I'm over here. All right, we got Lord Slug Giant Force, 15k with crit. +1 ability, you may choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. If you do, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets -10k power for the turn. So this, another anti-barrier hate card. And it has crit, so we can obviously take advantage of that, making sure our opponent doesn't gain any card advantage whenever we attack their life. And then it's -4 ability, which is an auto. If your leader card is red, when your opponent activates a counter skill, deal 1 damage to them. So you definitely want to make sure this has 4 counters. And then anytime your opponent plays like a counter attack, trying to stop one of your attacks, if they play like a Topo, for example, or Videl, or testing opposition, definitely will hurt them if they use test opposition's effect. You get the idea. Anytime they play a counter card, this will trigger, dealing them 1 damage, which will either put them in kill range or kill them right there and then. So gotta love that. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Then we got the King Piccolo Giant Force, 19k critical dual attack, so it has the ability to attack twice, so it gives us two chances of dealing our opponent damage. -2 ability, choose up to 1 of your red leader cards, and it gets +5k power until the start of your opponent's next turn. So it's a good way of giving our leader a quick little boost. But we mainly use this card for its -4 ability, which is pay 4 red energy plus X. If your leader card is red, which it is, deal X damage to your opponent. So you want to be able to, if you want to do 2 damage with this, you're going to need 8 energy and the leader's ability to untap 2 energies. So that way you can pay 4 energy to play King Piccolo, so it has 4 markers. Then untap then awaken the leader, untapping 2 energies, so you're back at 6 energy. Then use 4 red energy and 2 extra energies, and then do 2 damage with this card. Or you could just do 1 damage. You could do this with 7 energy, so you could do this like on turn 7. So that was a turn 8 play. A turn 7 play, you could do 1 damage, just by pretty much doing the same thing with the leader's awaken ability. Let's see, you could do 2 damage on turn 7, right? So you have 7 energy, you pay 3 to play the cards, so that means you have 4 left. You attach a second copy of King Piccolo to it, so it gets 4 markers, so that way it has 4 markers on it, right? And then you awaken your leader to untap 2 energy, so you have 6 energy. And then pay 4 red, of course minus the 4 markers, pay 4 red and 2 of any color, pretty much 6 red altogether, right? And then do 2 damage to your opponent. So that's a turn 7 2 damage play. You can obviously do the turn 7 1 damage play with that. So it's not that hard to get your opponent down to 2. That's the point. And this deck can stall. Can definitely get you to turn 6 at least. Turn 7. Not impossible to get to turn 8. I've done that many times. So there's that. And then we have Goku and Frieza Miraculous Conclusion. Ultimate and 40k dual attacker. First permanent. You can't play this card from any area using skills. If you have 5 or more mono red energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So it could cost 5 specify red. If you have 5 mono red energy, which mainly you're going to be charging 5 mono red energy, because you're going to want to use that for this, or use the 5 energy for the SS4 Gogeta, so whichever one you end up playing. So at least you have 5 or more cards you can in the deck that you can use that 5 red energy with to do some damage. So second permanent, this card cannot be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills, so it has some protection, which is nice. Third permanent, during battles in which this card attacked, your opponent can't use cards from their hand and I read wrong. During battles in which this card attacked, you can't use cards from your hand in combos, and your opponent can't activate counters or blocker skills. So, an unstoppable attacker, and it is a dual attacker. So you could potentially deal 2 damage with this card, and your opponent can't block, can't counter. They can obviously try to out combo, and since this prevents you from comboing from the hand, but not from your field, so you can still combo from the field if need be. But what makes this card really awesome, besides the fact you can try to go for game by attacking with it twice, is the fact that it has an active main. If your leader card is red, which it is, and you remove this card from the game, you deal your opponent 1 damage. Yay, burn! So you'll win regardless, right? And that's the end of the video.